identify what you need to stretch, and then you fatigue a muscle for 5 to 10 seconds. I usually do 5 seconds because it saves time when you want to try to get things done. And so after you fatigue a muscle for 5 seconds, then you usually have the person take a respiratory effort or inhale, exhale, and then you'll stretch for 2 seconds that particular tissue to its new range of motion. And your goal is to have specific ranges of motion within the hip complex, and then you'll know that the person is now back to a state of neutral or balance, and that'll be our goal. So really, in this particular protocol, there's only 6 maneuvers, and our goal would be to check the PSIS, which is on the posterior part of the pelvis. We want to check the sacral base to see where that's lying within the 2 iliums. We want to look at the ASIS on the front of the pelvis to determine is that inferior, superior, right and left. And then we want to also look at the leg length differential. And we want to determine is the right or left leg long or short. And then whatever leg is short, usually what is indicated is one of the iliums has slipped up on the sacrum. And in maybe a small percentage of the people, they actually have a bone length differential. So that's nothing we can correct. If that's something we determine, like to give you an example, there was a gentleman, his name is Steve, he's a massage therapist over in Melbourne, and he's a really big guy, like he's about 260 pounds and he's about 6'4". But we did all the work we just described, and then he had a leg length differential on his right side of about 1 inch. And so I tried to correct it in a number of ways, and then after I'd done all that, he finally told me, he said, well, I went over to Paul St. John's clinic, and he determined that I had a bone length differential. I said, well, that would have been a helpful piece of information for you to share with me before we did all this. But in his particular case, he would need a lift or something in order to correct that. But when you think about it, if you have a foundation that's level, the roof will also, to some degree, be more functional. But if your leg or the foundation is crooked, it'll affect everything from above it. And something that I learned as a result of working with the chiropractor that I work out of his office, if the neck is out, it'll also affect everything below.